Zimbabwe is located in sub-Saharan Africa. Zimbabwe borders South Africa and Zambia. The official language of Zimbabwe is English, but there are many tribal dialects spoken as well. The three major problems that we plan to address through our grant are the economy, education, and health issues.
Zimbabwe's economy is growing in continued political uncertainty. Following a decade of contraction from 1998 to 2008, Zimbabwe's economy recorded real growth of roughly 10% per year in 2010 to 2011, before slowing in 2012 to 2013 due to poor harvest and low diamond revenues. The government of Zimbabwe faces a number of difficult economic problems, including infrastructure and regulatory deficiencies, policy uncertainty, a large external debt burden, and insufficient formal employment. Until early 2009, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe routinely printed money to fund the budget deficit, causing hyperinflation. Dollarization in early 2009, which allowed currencies such as US dollars to be used locally, ended hyperinflation and reduced inflation below 10% per year, but exposed structural weakness that continue to inhibit broad-based growth. To our solution, our grant will focus on improving the job skills of the workforce, creating better infrastructure, and aiding the commercial farming sector. This should also help to improve and increase the tourism in the area, which will additionally stimulate the economy.
The problem of education in Zimbabwe is the high cost and lack of funding makes education extremely difficult to access. The lack of educational facilities and materials makes it nearly impossible to provide a quality education. In 2010, 2.5% of the GDP was spent on education. Compared to the rest of the world, Zimbabwe ranks 155. The literacy rate of the total population is 83.6%, and the male literacy rate is 87.8%. The female's literacy rate is slightly lowered at 80.1%. The total school life expectancy is 9 years, while the school expectancy is 10 years for males. Our focus on education will span across all levels, ranging from primary levels to university, as well as job and skills training, and spreading the importance of public health. By providing a quality education at all levels to people in Zimbabwe, the people of Zimbabwe will be able to use their knowledge as a tool and address their issues and to be able to provide for themselves. When the children of Zimbabwe today go out into the workforce, we hope our grant would have prepared them to make a lasting positive influence on their society. Educated individuals will be able to provide quality health care as well as be trained to fill the jobs and thus stimulate the economy. Our solution is to provide quality education to all people in Zimbabwe in order to generate a population that can provide for themselves. Through education, healthcare practices will vastly improve and the mortality rate overall will decrease. With more healthy and able bodies, the economy will thrive and boom with an abundance of jobs and healthy spending habits.
Zimbabwe has a myriad of health problems. It is estimated that for this country, they explicitly take into account the effects of excess mortality due to AIDS. This can result in lower life expectancy, high infant mortality, higher death rates, lower population growth rates, and changes in the distribution of population by age and sex than would otherwise be expected. Many Zimbabwe people are at a very high risk for major infectious diseases. This includes food or waterborne diseases such as bacterial diarrhea, hepatitis A, and typhoid fever, vector-borne diseases such as malaria, and water contact and animal contact diseases such as rabies. Maternal mortality rate for Zimbabwe is 570 deaths out of 100,000 live births, making them the 15th highest mortality rate for mothers in the world. The infant mortality rate for Zimbabwe is 26.55 deaths for every 1,000 live births. The life expectancy at birth is 55.6 years for the total population. Their drinking water sources have become more improved and urban areas but still are lacking in rural areas. They have improved by 97.1%. Well, 97.1% of the population has improved drinking water sources, where only 69.2% of the population in rural areas have this. Sanitation facilities are even less than this. 57.7% of the population in urban areas have improved sanitation facility access, where rural populations only have 33% of the populations with this access. The solution to this healthcare problem is to make medication for HIV and AIDS more accessible and available, as well as creating healthcare education plans, as well as increasing the need for family planning and contraceptives.
This grant focuses primarily on education, which will lead to better health and a more educated and skilled workforce that will in turn stimulate the economy in the future.